one strain here. When we are adding bacillus to the soil, even though we are adding a very small proportion, one cell in 20 million cells, we're getting a result because these are microbes that have a lot of abilities and create a lot of synergistic chain reactions that are very important in our systems. And this is what we tend to see when we grow the microbes with we put the microbes in the soil. After a couple of years, you start looking at the composition of the biota in those soils, and you are increasing the aerobic bacteria, very important, reducing the amount of anaerobic. We want all aerobic processes. We don't want anaerobic processes. We want good yeast and fungus. We want actinomycetes. We don't want pseudomonads. We want nitrogen-fixing bacteria. Then through time, we are in boosting the production, the growth, and the development of native populations of microorganisms that are going to be providing the stability to the system. And this is what we can see in the results of adding these microbes to the roots of a plant. The root is completely covered. Each one of these little specks that you see is a bacteria. Then you have a physical barrier forming a crust around the roots that is not only feeding on the plant, but feeding the plant with a lot of compounds, vitamins, amino acids, minerals, everything, you name it. And also offering a physical barrier to any pathogen that want to colonize this root. Remember that we can have, if you go to a forest, a very healthy forest, you're going to find all type of organisms, all type of pathogens present, but you don't see disease. The disease don't run rampant like you see in a monoculture. And the reason is we lost the biodiversity in the monoculture systems. The soils are poor, there's no biodiversity, easy, no competition for the pathogens. In this case, when you create a high biodiversity around the roots of the plant gets all the goodies from the environment and gets a complete protection from the system. Now we can go to the other presentation, maybe. Let me swing by to another presentation, a little bit more specific. Yeah, that one. Close it? No, you don't want to close it. Yes, open it. Yes. Okay. Can you guys see this? Are you there?
Yeah, can you share your screen?
We are sharing it, I thought.
No,
No, I cannot see.
yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah, this now you have it?
Yes, yes.
Okay. I'm going to talk about a couple of products. The first one is a blend of 19 strains of microbes. Might say a lot to some people, might say nothing to others. In reality, when you look at the taxonomy, the genetics of microbes has evolved dramatically in the last few years. Now that people say, oh, Bacillus subtilis, I know that one. I have that one in my products, or I have done applications of that. Well, the possibility that the Bacillus subtilis they have in other products are the same than ours is very slim. There are more than 250 Bacillus subtilis in the American type culture collection, and the genetic difference between them are just amazing. They are, then we cannot think that we are getting into the fine-tuning of identification. We're still scratching the surface. But anyway, we still can do a lot of things with what we know already. The important part is not to put good bugs together, is to put good bugs that get along together. Then one of the biggest, because I went to that exercise to put a couple of bacteria that had a very good activity together. And I thought, well, if one has a 10% activity and the other one has 10%, maybe if we put them together, we'll get 20%. And the result was 0. And to my surprise, putting a strain that has 10% activity with a couple of strains that have 0 activity, you can get 90% activity. Yeah. Then the interrelations between microbes is an essential part of microbial ecology and is a part that has been totally neglected by people. Then one of the large hard work that we did was to put together strains that get along together, stimulate each other, and don't compete with each other. Then that's what they do, these bugs. They do a lot of different mechanisms, working as a fertilizer, fixing nitrogen, solubilizing phosphorus, producing phytohormones, that's already a stimulant for growth of the plant, and control diseases by inducing the immune response and direct biocontrol by different methods. My experience is when you combine different methods of biocontrol at the same time, you are much more effective than when you use a single system, because obviously pathogens find a way to avoid one single mechanism of action. The other interesting thing is that when you look at the microbes, some microbes do activities in completely different categories. For example, let's look at Bacillus subtilis. You see it solubilizing phosphorus. You see it doing plant growth promoting activities. You see them stimulating the systemic resistance, and you see them also controlling diseases. Then these are not organisms that do one single thing. And many of those strains in the blend do many of the same activities. Then in that way, when you apply the product in different ecosystems, you get results, very similar results, consistent results. One of the main criticisms of biological product is inconsistency. It works in one field, doesn't work in the next. And one of these things can be avoided is by having an array of strains that will always have strains that will be in condition to perform their activity. The other trade secret, as we call it, actually is not a secret. The other key thing is nutrition. When you toss microbes into the environment, they might not get all the goodies they need to survive and to grow and to multiply and to produce, especially the complex compounds. If you look at an antibiotic molecule and a vitamin molecule, it's a huge molecule, and to build it from scratch, it's quite a labor. If you provide the microbes with precursors, then they can do that. But if you don't, if you just give them NPK, very likely they're going to go breeding. They might survive, they can multiply, but the likelihood that they're going to produce complex antibiotics or complex enzymes is very slim, because they don't have the building blocks to do it. And that's one thing that I have worked for a long time, try to get a nutrient that not only help multiply the bugs, but also help them produce all the goodies. And the formulation we use, we can get better growth than we can get with a laboratory grade, very expensive nutrients. Then that's very good, because then we apply that nutrient to the field. We can apply the product in a dry form directly to the seeds or the substrate, or we can dissolve it in water and apply it either to the leaves or the soil. Applications, obviously, the seed application is fantastic, because that's where you use the least amount of product. You go to the target place. Also, you don't leave the seed unprotected from the start. Then you want to do planting in the moments, applications in the moments where the plant has the highest energy demand. at pre-flowering, pre-fruit formation, and in between harvests. In systems in which you have a lot of pressure, let's say in a greenhouse, for example, you have a lot of moisture, you have a lot of fungus that are ready to take on, then you want to start keeping the pressure on by having multiple applications of products. Also, for example, in flowers, I worked quite a few years in the flower industry in Colombia and Ecuador, and they use the most toxic cocktails that you can imagine on a daily basis. Then obviously they are wiping out everything that you created in the biology and those soils. So you need to do weekly applications, and then that way you can keep up the health in the soils. And we started the program Green Leaf in Colombia. We were the first ones to bring that technology there. And for the first time, they were able to grow flowers without any chemicals, when it was the most chemically consuming industry in agriculture. On the web page, you're going to have all these dosage rates. And here are some results, just visual results. You can see this in lettuce in Germany, treated and untreated. But the beautiful thing is that consistency. You see the beds. There is no holes in the beds. Very healthy plants, lush plants that you end up producing. This is in tomatoes in a nursery. And you can see that this is quite from the early stages, you start seeing good differences in the plants, statistical differences. And this is a very interesting graph because it shows us that when not long after planting, the plants start to lose fuel. And when you use the microbes in the system, they're still growing exponentially. Then you want to be able to provide the plant the conditions so that the plant will grow to the genetic capability of the plant. You don't want to limit that ability. Here's some results. Then we applied here the product 3 times at 7 ounces per acre. And you can see an increase in 14% in the yield. That's significant, but what is more interesting for these processing tomatoes was bricks and total solids. 7% more in bricks and 19% more in total solids. That's and much less waste, 13% less waste. Then when you combine all these factors, increased productivity and better quality, that when people measure and quantify things, they really see a big difference. This is results I just collected in Brazil. In this case, in corn, very low dose rate, 1.5 ounces per acre, one application. Yet, one application, you got an increase in yield. It was, I cannot see the percentage, but that was not what really surprised the growers. What surprised the growers was the number of rows of grains. 20 grains when we treated, only 16 in the untreated. And look at the color of the grains. Then you can see a very big, notorious difference in quality. This is in sugarcane. That was only 3 ounces per acre. This was done only a few weeks after the application. You can see already a start. And this is very interesting, drawn pictures. The left side was the normal treatment of the farm. The right side is the treatment with our product. And when we use an image analysis system to the pictures, this is what we got. The dark part is the place where you don't have plants. And you can see in the control, a very significant difference in the coverage of growth of plants in these lands. And it has huge implications, not only in productivity. You know, sugarcane is the stem that is collected, and therefore, the more stems you have, the more sugar you're going to collect. But here you have more water retention, you have less evaporation, you have better quality of soil. The more coverage you give to the soil, the more life you give to the soil, because you are not exposing it to the UV light, you're not going to evaporate the water, and so forth. You're going to have a more life. This is in flowers. This is a very old data. I like to show this because it shows the magnitude of the increments that you can get in systems. And it can be very, very substantial. As you can see, over 100% improvements. But if you look at the dose B, very low dose rate, to the same variety of plant, the flower, was grown in 2 different soils. In a very good soil, brand new soil, they were starting the farm, we got just a 10% improvement. However, in a very bad soil, 210% improvement. Then obviously the magnitude not only depends on the variety that you're growing, but also on the type of soil. Ecofungi is a different product. It's a blend of mycorrhiza, 4 strains of mycorrhiza, with the same microbes that were present in the previous product, but at a lower concentration. Then you can see in the previous product, we had 1/10 to the 9. Here we have 1/3 of the concentration. Why did we do that? First, mycorrhiza, if you put them by themselves, at the beginning of the association with the plant, these fungi start draining energy from the plant. Therefore, people are going to see a dip in the growth of the plant, and growers don't like that. We noticed that when we added the bacterial component or the other microbial component, because there are also fungus here, we lost that. We didn't have that dip in the growth of the plant because these microbes were taking care of the plant and stimulating the growth and interacting with the mycorrhiza, helping them grow. Here are, sorry, I forgot to translate this slide. Those are the 4 strains of mycorrhiza we use in the product. As you can see, they have different activities. Improve absorption of nitrogen, improve the absorption of phosphorus. That's a general rule for all of them. Some of them go for more specifics, for example, potassium, magnesium, calcium. That's intraradices that will help. And so forth. Then different mechanisms, salinity, intraradices, and mosaia, then they have different benefits. And by providing them all these association of mycorrhiza, we tend to believe to provide all these benefits to the system as the roots are being colonized. This is a typical example of what we see in potted plants when we're treated with ecofungi, and this is the control. This is the root system. So this is the real roots that grew more because of all the compounds that were producing by these microbes. But this is not showing us all the network of mycorrhiza hypha that develop in the soil. Here in this slide, we can see that. This is the root of the plant, and these fine lines are the hyphas of the mycorrhiza. And they're producing already spores. And you can see it's a complete network that covers a huge area in the soil. The small size of the hyphas allow them to penetrate any soil particle, and because of the chemical activity, the biochemical activity of these hyphas, they can extract any nutrients that are tied up in a chemical form. So when we have a normal plant, the acquisition of nutrients is very limited to the root system, and the immobile is only a very small amount of nutrients that can be taken out because it's related to the activity of the plant. And the mobile, they cannot go from very far. On the other hand, when you have mycorrhiza, the IFAs of the mycorrhiza will be colonizing all this soil, and therefore they are bringing mobile and immobile nutrients from all over the place to this plant. The other big advantage is that they are not only bringing all these nutrients and water to the plant, but they work as a reservoir. So when the plant needs some extra water, it would just call the fungus and the fungus give the water to the plant. Then they have like an automatic sprinkler system. And the same goes for the fertilizer. Every time the plant has a need of fertilizer, the mycorrhiza will provide those nutrients that are stored in the system. Then the plant is never deprived of anything that it needs. Here are some of the dosage rates recommended. For me, the best application is for the seeds, because then you go really right where you need to go, and you use a much smaller quantity that you need to do when you are going to do a field application. The second application will be dipping the roots of the plants in the solution, for example. And you can go even to established plants and try it. We do it, for example, in grapes in the drip irrigation system. That works very well because it really goes to the active root systems. But we have seen, for example, in plantations like bananas that have a very spread, very thin root system all over the surface. If you treat only one part, we inject that with the injector. We just treat one little part of the root system. That would be enough for the plant to produce amazing bananas. We don't need to colonize the whole plantation. There are more recommendations for other applications. Here we can see also in tomatoes the effect. You can see it. This case, this slide, I put it on purpose. This was when the ecofungi didn't have the association of all the other microbes. It was just the mycorrhiza. And I put this to show you how at the beginning, on 19 days, you get lower growth in the plants treated with the mycorrhiza. And that was because of this energy demand from the plant. But on day 26, already you see the plants level off. And then when you go and see it later on, the plants that were treated with the mycorrhiza are way better than the control plant. Great quality, very important. Here in this case, it is the potatoes. We can see the differences all over the board on different categories, and much less waste, for a total improvement of 41%, which is quite significant. This is strawberries. We did a lot of work with strawberries, getting zero need of chemicals, no the methyl bromide at the beginning of the soil treatment, getting strawberries that were good, starting earlier than the other plantations. Production started earlier. We got very big strawberries, high quality, no hollow, much more sugar, and many more fruits. And all the fruits produced went to table. Usually in strawberries in California, half of the cycle goes to table, half goes to processing. In this case, they all go to table. Very similar in potatoes. One of the things I like to look a lot is the nutritional quality of the food that we are producing. And this is a very good trial, very good data on wheat. You can see the control was completely conventional. We got 2 tons per hectare. We did another treatment, same conventional, same chemicals, but we added the mycorrhiza. And we got obviously more colonization of mycorrhiza. We increased significantly the production. But if you look at the nutrients, this wheat is much more nutritious than the control. And when we go all organic, we still boost even further the production and even more the quality, the nutritional quality of the grain produced. This next slide was provided by Dr. Matichenko from the Russian Academy of Sciences. He's a specialist in silica, probably one of the biggest in the world right now. And he was doing a lot of works with EcoSil, which is a monosilicate, and looking how to improve the fertilizers. He works for fertilizer companies. And you can see by adding the silicates, you really boost the production and yield of cotton. What he called me and saying that he was quite surprised how the mycorrhiza still further increase this. And I was more surprised than him because he used extremely high concentrations of fertilizer, NPK, to start with. And as you know, NPK is a limiting factor because if you have too much NPK, you don't form association with the mycorrhiza. The plant doesn't need to make an association if it has all the nutrients in excess. And in this case, there was nutrients in excess, and still we got an improvement in production. Okay, here are some of the results. And okay, I'm sorry, this is from Bolivia, yeah. From different type of crops, we did work for several years there, and this was the compound results that they got through many years. They want from 2 to 2.5 tons to 3.5 to 3 tons in improvement in soy. In corn, it's also like a significant improvement from 40 to 60 or 80 sacks to 100 sacks per hectare. And in wheat, I think that there was a mistake here. It's 1.1 tons to 2 tons. That was a typo. And what they like very much was what the grower was looking at the root system, because sometimes they don't do any measurements until the harvest. Then for them to take a plant out and look at they have 3 times, 4 times more root system than the control, then that really motivates them to look at the results. There are some things that we want always to take care of. We have to consider that this is a biology. Then we need to do some applications that the way we apply the product needs to be conscious of what we're doing. We don't want to put antagonistic chemicals. We don't want to use copper, which is it's an effective fungicide, but it's the worst chemical, heavy metal that binds in the soil and will never go away. Then if you apply copper and copper and copper, those soils on the long end are going to be very, very damaged. We can use seeds that are coated with fungicides, and we have had no adverse effects. We recommend flushing always irrigation systems. We don't know what's in there. Wait 1 week before application of chemicals and apply early in the morning or afternoon to avoid the heat. And with those considerations, we can guarantee very good results. Now I'm going to show you some results of growers in Brazil of soybeans. And they use only very small amounts, 150 grams per hectare. That's 4 or 5 ounces per hectare, a couple of ounces per acre. And you can see the different farms, completely different geographical areas, totally different soils. We got kind of a consistent improvement in production, on average of 10%. Here are we always do this. We ask the farmers to early on to take some of the plants and from all the farms and to show us what they see with how they compare them with the control. And you can see always that a very notorious difference in the root system, in the production also, getting a couple of plants out and see how it distributes. And also interesting to see in this farm, for example, they did it in the rain season, in the drought season. In the rain season, it's perfect, obviously fantastic conditions without an improvement of 10%. And in the dry season, very, very hard conditions, we got a 22%. This is a result in corn. I apologize that this seems everything else a bit screwed up. Here I don't have the difference in pounds per acre, but you can see it's quite a notorious difference. 14% difference in production of corn at 1.5 ounces per acre. Wheat, 3 ounces per acre. Also in first farm, 55% improvement in yield, and in second farm, 23%. And here in this case, we did one application of the ecofungi and one application of ecoflora planting, and we got a 30% increase in yield. Potatoes, this is very curious. I've never seen this before, and that was the farmers that told me about it, and we saw it in several farms. You have a control plant on the left and a treated plant on the right. And what is very surprising is the mother potato, the potato seed, is totally degraded. It's rotten in the non-treated plant. And in the treated plant is still a solid, functional potato that is still feeding the plant. And it's very remarkable that the plant can still get that vitality. Apologize again for these slides. It's kind of getting a little bit confusing here. We did applications in this farm. This farm, they are producers of biologicals, big time producers of biologicals, and they apply 4.3 gallons per acre of their biological product. And we compare that with our products at a much lower concentration. And we can see in this one, oh God, this is totally messed up. I'm sorry. Let me try to figure out, make some sense out of this. They got a return on investment of 5 based on these calculations. I'm sorry, it's totally screwed up, but you can see depending on the quality of the potato, they get paid substantially different quantities depending on the amounts, and therefore, if your yield got much higher, then the difference in money obviously are much higher. The differential in cost is not that much compared with what they are getting, so they got a ROI of 5. In this case, in this other farm, these guys stuck to their chemicals. They didn't want to get rid of their chemicals, but we still got an ROI of 6. And in this farm, this is a very interesting area. They have, in all this area, they have this problem of disease that there's a browning spot that appears in the plant, in the potato seed, and the potato, and this is not marketable. People cannot sell these potatoes. Then they were devastated by this project, and what they noticed, there was not that much increase in production, but what surprised the people was that in the treated plot, they only got 18 sacks of reject, while in the control, 119 sacks of reject. That's 84% less reject in potatoes. Then we can go not only increase yields, but dramatically increase quality. And that's what things people are starting to look at, even in commodities. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the presentation. So afterwards, Isabelle is going to introduce herself a little bit, but if you have any question now, feel free to ask, so we can clarify and keep the presentation fresh.
Yeah, I got a question.
Yeah,
sure.
On this ecofloral ecofungi, basically how to sell this product is you can, for instance, like on almonds, it takes about 150 units of nitrogen to grow about 2,000 pounds per acre. But this ecofungi makes the fertilizer more efficient, so you can use less fertilizer. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
What would be the what would you I know it's going to depend on soils and everything, but what can you see in the almond industry and the pistachio industry here in California as far as saving the grower money? How much would you think about? I mean, as far as how much can the grower save? I mean, as far as fertilizer cost.
Sure. As you mentioned, it depends on the crop, depend on management. Some people are more into flooding the field with fertilizers than others. But in general, what I tell my growers is start with a 20% reduction, 20 to 30% reduction. Yeah. And they are never going to get lower production compared with their control. Yeah. Then I will say start with the 20% on the first year, and the second year they already know that they can get away with it, and then go for a further 10% like that, reducing the fertilizer.
Yeah, no, that's good because that's what I was thinking, 30% reduction more likely. Because with the almond market the way it is, it's like $1.50 a pound. It may even go lower. We got guys here pulling the orchards out, and they're not people are turning away from the almond market here, just because the price is so bad. And so, how I can push this product here is, I can save them, 20 to 30%, on their fertilizer costs by using, adding this to their fertilizer program.
Right. One of the things that I like the most, I love to work with people that measure things. Yeah. It's with farmers that really get data, because they are the ones that are really noticing things. It's not only the yield at the end of the crop, but they're starting to see different factors. They're using less electricity, less oil. They are using less chemicals. They are using less water, less pumping, less gas, and when they start keeping all those numbers together, they can get paid more for their crop, depending, on commodities. Probably it's difficult, but in fruits, I see it all the time. People get paid much better price for beautiful fruits than for crappy ones. Then when people start putting all those numbers together, that's when they say it's a no-brainer to jump into this. Yeah.
I agree.
And also, I think now has a lot of a government grant. So get the goal, reduce 20-40% of water or electricity, or even the soil, improve the organic matter. So we are a program can help them, and even we can help them apply in the future. It's I always say, we can reduce water. I think at least 50%, because I have a lot of experience. Yeah. I have a
My experience is I don't like to claim numbers too high at the beginning. I feel that if I tell a grower that I'm gonna do a 30% and he does a 25, he's not happy. But if I tell him 20 and he does 25, he's delighted. Yeah. Then
right.
It's all an approach,
Yes. So no question?
Thank you.
Hey, Chuck, I think you have some question, maybe. Is there, Chuck?
Yeah, I'm here, but not right now. But I'll ask a little bit.
Okay, I have some question for Chuck though. I know Chuck gonna grow 20 acres of sugarcane this year. So my question is, if Chuck want to use both EcoFounder and EcoFlora, when will be the best time to do? to apply EcoFounder and EcoFlora?
Well, there are several ways of planting the sugar cane. Some people start with the stalks. Some people are just chopping the plant and keeping regrowing the same stud. You know.
Yeah, this is the way he gonna use. He just chop it and put them on the ground, then put in water, bury it. That's it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, usually
maybe okay, go ahead.
The mycorrhiza, the ecofungi.
My plan is this, because in the farm, they used to plant vegetable, so we plan to put some sugar cane there. And right now, I'm gathering all the seedling by, make a seedling first, half of the area of the farm, making it like a trial, making it a trial. So you could try, let's say, a couple acres of seedling, where you got the knob, and then you just go from there. So probably use the fungi to let the root come up, and then the other couple acres, I want to do the cutting, where you cut a piece that had like 3-4 knobs.
Yeah. Yeah, if you do a manual planting is one way, because then you can put some of the product, you make a solution and you can spray it on each hole, a little bit as you plant each hole. In mechanized applications, they do that in Brazil. I have seen that the machine as it's planting is spraying. But if you don't do that with mycorrhiza at the beginning, it's not worth it because of the cost. I will go with the EcoFlora. EcoFlora is easier to apply and will do wonders to your production.
Okay.
So Chuck, at the beginning, the company started, so he started promote Comcat or SG programs. So the not only Comcat Fungi EcoFlora. So the farmer from Minnesota, from Washington State, they drive here to buy our product. So yeah, then let me introduce. So I would like to share my how say the what I know for our history. So the Comcat, I have been worked for more than 20 years. So I know it's the inventor named Paulus. So he already passed away, but he was work in the bank, help farmer, to loans, yeah. And he found the monoculture at that time. I think 1940s, 50s. He already found the problem. It's in the future, farmer will be input more and more the chemicals, and the monoculture is not right. So the associated crop. So like our Comcat is from screen from almost 4,000 plants. So now I attend the Yuma the West Summit, Ag Summit. So the president mentioned about the associated plant. So I'm thinking, yeah, so I'm so exciting. But most people now is just a plant, this associated plant, but we already produce it, extract it, and they can spray very easier and get the same function. So what I know Comcat, I told her already almost, it's just 20 years already, 20 years. So I'm so proud. I'm so proud. Yeah, the God chose me to promote this product. So, and also the team, they are so respected by the farmer. Now have the drought issues. So what I experienced about drought, I would tell the 3 stories. The first, the same is my my friend. Yeah, he get the sample, and he has a farm, and he used our product only one time at that time. On beans. So normally he irrigate 3 or 4 days per time irrigate, but use our Comcat the whole the season. He didn't the whole the months he didn't use any irrigation. So it's very dry. It's August, no rain. The control is not grow, just not have a bean. But we use the 20 gram and the 40 gram, the 2 treatment. They grow very well and very great. The beans very beautiful. And then he told me only my bean sold, other farmer can sell. So when I taste about this bean, so delicious. Yeah, I never eat such a tasty produce. So that was and also at that time I just beginning 20 years ago, I just beginning do trials. So after harvest, I take some the fruits back to the office, and everybody like it very much. Where I can buy it, and we tested the several fruits. For example, the apple. Yeah, we are increased 5 times. The antioxidant. The
Antioxidant.
Antioxidant is a SOD increased 5 times. So for the other nutrition, for example, kiwi, we test what we increase. So we increase 2 to 3 times vitamin C. So so that is mean we help soil much improved. And I will see the Philippe mentioned about food soil food web. So we are quite very fast. I can see what my I experienced. I promote our technology in whole the county. They are Kiwi County, so they use our technology, and the farmer 1 season can see so many earthworm come back. They said many years they couldn't see earthworm. So the first year, and that year we reduce 50% of fertilizer, chemical fertilizer, and only reduce 3/4 of chemical pesticide. Most of the farmer that area. So I think the healthy soil, can make a plant more healthy. So the parameter of a healthy, we can use our program can let now have a I think very simplified, and it's a very good method to test the plant healthy. So use the leaf bricks. I think our product, our program, we can after use, we can test the leaf bricks. So they have a permit about, for example, if above 12 or above 14, it's seldom has a disease. So I think we can help increase this bricks. And for the drought stress, I have another several stories. One is the wheat seed treatment. So only with seed treatment, 1 gram treated 40 pounds of wheat. So after this treatment, other same as the same with control is in the same plot and the same condition. But in the springtime, we treated in autumn, and the next spring, we go to the field and we take out the plants, the control plots. So the soil not aggregation. So it's a fall down and very dry, the plots, the parts. So our parts, so we take off the plant, the wheat. So all the soil aggregation, and also have a ice under the soil. Under the soil. So everybody amazing this different only by seed treatment. So I attend the expo I think 2017 or 18. So the biggest vegetable, the internationally, the biggest one, I forgot the name, is they come to our booths, and I introduced Comcat to them. They said, we heard of Comcat, and we buy online. We buy what we think is works for the seed grow. So everything. So we tried the Comcat. It's not great. I said, don't buy from the online. It's a lot of fake product, because we are already famous in some countries. So I give you and you try. So only, I think, not more than 2 weeks, he has the result, and say, I never saw this great product. So in here, we worked with Helena, and we did several trials. So they are R&D West company, the R&D manager. I think Philippe, you are there, huh? I think David, in Helena. That day you are there?
No.
Okay. He told, I never saw this product great as your product. A lot of stories, even cold stress, the frozen. I was observe the apple already frozen, and the flower getting dark, getting black already. So use our product to 1 gram per tree. It's a 30 years old tree. So without our product, or just spray, without our product, almost no any apple that area. But use our Comcat spray, have several, not too much fruit. But 1 gram treat 1 tree, just spray down in the on the ground. So it's full of the tree, the fruit. So this is a cold stress. So we help a lot of farmer. They conquer a lot of this and I think we choose it's lucky if you choose our company or product. It will be very lucky. So why I say that, because all my salesperson told, oh, the farmer often, yeah, treated them yeah, very, very well, because they solved the problem for the farmer, let farmer getting richer and rich. So I'm very lucky, and Thomas, yeah, they choose me represent this product. So I grew up with this product. At beginning, I don't trust for, but from this product I learned trust. So yeah, I know the trust. So for example, one at the beginning, a distributor called me, hi, my farmer has a problem because his strawberry, somebody want to cure his whole field. So they use a glyphosate to this farmer's field. So can you send me a Comcat sample to healing? So I say, yeah, you are expert. Impossible. If the tree, not strawberry is very sensitive to these chemicals. So even tree, I send a sample to you, it might be died already. But he said, you must send to me. So I sent to him, and he observed 3 days, go to the farm to observe. So very quickly it healing, and also they get more and more good quality strawberry than other farmers. No this damage. So everybody is so happy, and yeah. So we Comcat is a miracle. I often told people, Comcat is a God themselves. Comcat is what the farmer want to expect and waiting, and Comcat can help them realize. Of course, our other product is all very yeah, have their miracle too. So I at the beginning, Thomas trust me and let me represent his product. At that time, I'm 20 years ago, I'm 34, so 35. So I have not experience to do business, and yeah. So but I decided I will do this because I know our Comcat is a very great product, and I also thanks for Thomas trust me, and I also very moved by Thomas. He's no any discrimination, so he go to China, and everybody his shareholder don't want he go to China. They said Chinese people want to like to copy, so your product won't be successful there. But Thomas didn't think about any what they say, just told them what I invention. He has 12 years, no any income, just input his family's money to invention this product. So what I do he said, what I do this because we don't want people in the future, the soil degradation and the people will starving. China is the most population, and it should be the first country will facing the starving. So no any think I will go there. So he's very successful now in China. And at this 20 years, nobody copy our product. So yeah, they're willing to copy, but no, I think it's America. It's God sent to us, so no problem. I think the first what we are thinking, what we are facing, a lot of difficulties, but I will conquer because I think the God is with us. So why see this? Because at the beginning, I don't know this. 20 years ago, I borrowed 3 million and need to pay back 4 months. They just gave me 4 months. At that time, I have no idea where I can sell this product. So I told the story about the chemical, the glyphosate damage that that farmer, that distributor, yeah, he threw this same. He trusted our product, and they eat the strawberry. It's so sweet and it's so great. So their team have a confidence to help me. So I didn't pray or they buy my product, but he bought from me. And then another is because we are organic certified. So at that time, the Olympic game in China, in Beijing, so the government by us. So this two cells, I paid back the 3 million in 4 months. So I think do this business, no worries. What we are goal must be achieved. So now, because our product really can help farmers. So I think I just see this. I have many stories want to share with you, maybe in the future. Thank you for your attention.
All right, thank you, Isabel. So now, if we would like to open the floor, if you have any questions, or if you want to ask it privately, it's also good as well. You can send me an email or send me a message. If anyone has a question.
So I'm thinking I don't want to to do presentation because my poor English. But our scientists, Thomas and Ryan, even Vladimir, they have a record. So then we'll send to you, and then you can learn of this. Yeah.
I had one question on the flora products there. Is that something that will also build in the soil?
Yes.
The more you use it, it builds and it continues to feed the soil, because our soils are just flat dead here in California. I mean, we're talking 1% or less organic matter. And, it's something that I've been advocating for a long time. We need to do something about it. And this sounds like something that would help out. Also, my question is, because I've been familiar with some of those, I call them critters that are in the soil, but are some of them indigenous to our soils here in California as well, or are they introduced and then we maintain them in the soil and build it up over the period of time? These are kind of questions that a lot of growers have asked me over the years, and I was just wondering what your take was on it.
Sure. Well, this is a very good question. The first thing is that, yeah, the soils in California and in many places have very, very little organic matter, and it takes a while to build it. We did some studies long ago when I was working there, And in a 5-year study, we were able to increase the organic matter in the soil a couple of points, which was quite dramatic because we started with kind of a desert. Yeah, we started with the desert. Now, obviously, if you apply amendments, organic amendments, increase in organic matter exponential. Different type of practices, cover crops, composting, you know, all those type of things are fantastic. Things are to do it well. For example, I'm not a fan of the use of manure, raw manure at all, because raw manure, you're bringing a lot of anaerobic conditions to the system. There's a rotten stuff, you know, what you're bringing to the system. That's not what you want. You want is a processed manure. And a balanced processed manure is fantastic. It's one of the best fertilizers you can get. But putting fresh manure into a field, that's not the way to go. Yeah. Now, what we have noticed is that why do we have to reapply the bugs? Because that's a question that comes a lot in aquaculture, that we apply the products quite often. And the people ask me why you have to reapply if they should be multiplying and colonizing and taking over. And the reality is that we're creating a food web in the system. It didn't exist probably before. And as you create a food web, these microbes that we are putting, these are the pioneers. These microbes have a characteristic of large size, especially the bacillus. When you look at the bacillus, it's a huge bug compared with most of the gram-negative bacteria that are present in the soils. Now, I'm going to give you an analogy. Let's say you have a bag of 1 pound of M&Ms.
Okay.
And you have a big Hershey bar on the other hand, right? Okay. Then you have to eat an M&M one by one. That's a lot of energy that you're wasting, right? Putting one by one into your mouth. The bar is just one chunk and you move it and you get a big chunk of chocolate, right? Then that's one way of seeing it. Consuming small bacteria is not very nutrient efficient for a predator. Eating big chunky bacteria, it is huge advantages. Now, from the other point, if you look at M&M has a shell, imagine that as a membrane. And the membrane of a microbe is usually not very nutritious. The smaller the microbe is, the less nutritious it is because it has less juices inside and it has more membrane. Okay. Then not only from the capture is more efficient to have a big chunky bacteria, but from the nutritional part is a huge advantage to have a chunky bacteria. Now, there is a selective predation. Even though we don't think that they are always playing on chance encounters, the predators in the a lot of the predators, ciliates, flagellates, they are harvesting. They are looking for the big ones. Yeah, maybe a worm that is eating soil. It's not selecting anything because it's just ingesting soil and passing it through his gut. But smaller creatures, they are very selective. That's why the population gets down because it's consumed, and that's something we want. We want all these microbes to be consumed and go back into the food chain and creating all these web, right? That is a dynamic system. Now, that's why we have to reapply the products to keep that condition. Now, what we have noticed, and that was one of the graphs, tables I showed at the beginning, with time, you will see a shift in the native population toward a better native population, a population that is more aerobic, more stable. You have the R and K species in ecology. The R are the colonizers. They arrive first, they are wasteful, they don't consume well the nutrients, they are very wasteful, but they want to take the nutrient before the others. Then they are taking advantage. And you have the K microorganisms They are the ones that give stability to the system, very, very efficient in the nutrient management and so forth. Then we have to switch the soils that have been affected by agricultural practices that make them go back to R populations, to K populations. And we do that with this product because then we are making the community more stable. They have more food sources, more resources, they can stabilize themselves, then they can be more suitable for maintaining the community. Okay? Then it's a great approach and it takes time. It's not overnight that we're going to see the buildup of organic matter. But as we incorporate these with other practices with the growers, they are going to get fantastic results in saline soil, salt concentration, for example. The best thing is organic matter. Yeah. Because it is really a solution right away. Yeah. Can be rapid.
Right. So it's like anything, like you say, you're going to take time to build it and get it. I mean, it's a work in progress. Okay. You know,
it's a work
and
in
especially
progress,
here
correct.
in California, you may never get it, but it's going to be better. And for every % better, as a number, you're going to see the value in that and the building. And you know, it's a networking inside the soil and a balance at the same time. So, okay,
yeah,
I understand that.
But it's happening. The good thing is that if you have the techniques to look for it, you will see it. You will see, for example, taking sandy soils when you have these microbes. After just a couple of applications of growth of this, they start to produce mucilaginous compounds. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
That are sticky compounds that help to build soil particles. So you have nutrient retention. You have a habitat for other organisms to grow there. You know what I mean? Okay. Then that start creating the snowball starting to form.
Right. Okay. Great. Thank you.
Very well. What rate would you recommend on like trees here in California? I mean, almonds, pistachios, to not only increase the organic matter, but to decrease the fertigation, the amount of fertilizer that they're putting on. How often per year would you be putting on timings year? How many applications?
Well, we go for we want to simplify things. We cannot do as much as we would like to, obviously, you just have always restrictions and limitations and so forth. If you apply the product a couple times during the season, that's very good. Yeah.
Should you be doing it up front during, petal fall or anything? Or I mean, or should you be doing it more during nut size, which would be, say June? And nut
right.
fill.
Well, there's different views. For example, I have some growers that in Europe that found extremely interesting results applying the products in the fall before the winter. I was like, "Whoa, what are you doing?" He said, "Well, we're preparing the soil for the next year, and effectively next spring the soil was in a significantly nicer condition." But you will think, okay, if I have to save my bullets, I save them for the fight. Then let's start in the beginning of the season, springtime, when everything is awakening, the processes are starting to go. That's when you want to maximize your effectivity. That's a key application. Yeah. Every time you apply a fertilizer, that would be a great moment, because that moment you do a synergistic approach of both nutrients and microbes at the same time. Yeah. And that's a great combination. If you have depending on all depend on the type of crop and the management you're doing.
Now, I read these labels here, and like on this, I believe it was the Ecofloral. Let's see. Yeah, I think it was. It says that you gotta wait 30 minutes. You gotta. What do? Make a slurry, and then wait. It says wait 30 minutes before you put it into with the rest of the products. Is that right?
Well, in reality, you want to do a slurry, yeah, because it helps for the application. You can apply it right away, yeah. They don't have to wait anything. The thing is that you don't want to leave it standing
I was gonna say,
for a long
my
time.
concern was when it said wait 30 minutes before you put it into the rest of the product. I was like, well, farmers don't want to wait 30 minutes. You know, I mean,
No,
they want to,
you don't need to.
go get it done. So,
No, my
yeah.
experience is the opposite. The most of the what happened with farmers is that they prepare a solution, and by the time they go into applying the fields, hours have gone by. You know,
Right.
then in that case, that's what I recommend. Don't apply the product very concentrate. You apply it as diluted as possible, you know, so that you don't kill your own product. Yeah, because they're gonna, in 2 hours, they are germinating, they're starting to multiply, and they're gonna grow. And you don't want them to be standing in a tank with the sun, with no oxygen. You know, after a while, if you leave it for a week, there's not much gonna be there.
Oh, right. Yeah. Now I tell my growers that anyway. Like, you know, or if they're putting fungicides or herbicides or anything on the ground, I mean, they, you know, never mix anything more than what you're going to do that day. So, you know,
that's the best formula. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay.
Yeah. They apply chemicals can add the Comcat and the Angro. So it will be improve the effectiveness, and also this year cold stress and the drought stress. So it will be solve the problem.
One thing that is important mentioned here is that a lot of people like to make applications with several things at the same time, because every application costs them, you know, to make the application is a cost. Therefore, they try to put the nutrients, they try to put extra amendments, whatever, you know, in one shot. It's perfectly valid, and putting the microbe, and we call them a bomb application, because you really see the effects on the plants even next day, you know, you can see the shiny, the green, the whole thing. But the order of the preparation ingredients, that's important. If you're going to use, for example, something that has a very strong pH, either high or low, put it at the first, so that when it dilutes in water, you don't have such a strong effect for whatever comes up next. Yeah. Let's say, for example, you're going to use monosilicic acid. Monosilicic acid has a very high pH. If you dilute, if you have a very strong concentration of that, and you put the microbes on a pH of 14 or 10, you're going to fry them. Yeah. But if you dilute first in water, the pH, the monosilicic acid is going to quickly go to 7. Then it's perfectly safe then to apply, put the bugs in, and then apply the product. Yeah.
So these products work as a buffer too, then.
Excuse me?
These products work like a buffer too, then. I mean, they buffer the water.
Yeah, yes, buffer, yeah.
Right.
That's right.
Exactly.
So the salinity, yeah, I have a lot of experience to solve the salinity use, yeah, our product, especially the Cibusol, the yeah high PhD. So we put Angro and the Comcat and the Cibusol together, and for example, one cherry farmer, so another shrimp farmer. Yeah, the output, the water, the salt water, yeah, damage whole his field, and he has 2 solutions. One solution they choose some other products, so he's lucky he just choose 2 row. Other whole the field because we are cheaper, so he use whole our program Comcat Angro and the yeah, and the Cibusol. So the other 2 rows all died, and we are grow very well, and then the same year the same year has a lot of fruits, even better than before. So then we tested the salt in the soil, so half year later, so we reduce half. We reduce half. it go down, it mean we make the soil, the structure, the physical structure very well, so it can let the salt go down. Yeah, we have a lot of some farmer the compact the salinity soil is very hard, and farmer just spray or twice, so the soil become very loose, and so other farmers think they buy soil and change whole his field soil. Yeah, no, and also this farmer no irrigation that year, because the soil, the structure improved, so it's a keep very the water moist. So the other farmers, his neighbor, he take a shovel, go this, they irrigate twice that year, and very dried, very hard. We are no irrigation that year, and just spray all twice. Yeah, I will tell another story because I go to Yuma. I remember then one story. 1 year, I think 2000. I forgot. It's very serious drought stress that year. 46 days, no irrigation water, no rain. So use our product twice can produce just a spray twice can produce letters. So I go to Yuma, the river dried, and then the soil degradation. I'm thinking, oh, I have a solution, so I can help. So that day, the sky, I will share it with you. I shared to Steve already, and the Chuck already. The sky has our logo, our eagle logo, because we just changed to eagle because I feel I need more strength to sowing, and also we can help a farmer have a farming. Sorry. So yeah, then the sky has our logo there.
Alrighty.
Thank you.
Yes, we truly appreciate you taking the time to get on the call with us. Yeah, I know it's already past 5 or even past the evening in many places. So really appreciate you taking the time and your attention, listening to me, Philippe, and Isabelle.
Thank you.
Ask the questions.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
send to you. Yeah.
All right.
Please feel free to send us any questions or any information. Contact us. It would be a pleasure. Okay.
Okay, great.
Great, thank
you.
Thank
you
you.
taking the time this evening to speak with us, and greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Good
Bye.
night.
Okay.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a good evening.
Have a good evening.